Hi, my name is Robbie Lawfer, News Editor at International Advisor. This is another installment of Why I Became a Financial Advisor. Today I'm joined by
Paul Griffiths.
Thanks for joining us, Paul. The first question for you would be, what did you do before financial advice?
Well, it's a long story, Robbie. First off, I come from a family of restaurateurs. So since the age of 11, I've always been involved in restaurants, washing up in the kitchen at that age, working my way through the kitchen, starters, prepping, and learned a little bit of the chefing, in all honesty. And I think didn't really like or enjoy my life in the kitchen, so I moved more to front of house. But that's a family business, and I did other things with the likes of Sainsbury's and other things as time went by. But my career sort of ended in the restaurant business, I think, back in 2006. Okay, I thought enough's enough, and obviously in between then I've done sales. I worked for Phones for You, I worked for Orange in their retail in Bath in the southwest of England. So I think I've always had a knack to speak with people. When I was managing the restaurant in front of a house, I was speaking to the customers of the restaurant, regulars that come in. So yeah, it at least that side was always very interesting to meet and speak with new people. But the social hours of a restaurant certainly didn't agree with me, shall we say. So after taking sort of a couple of years break, trying to decide my new career, I only got involved in financial services by virtue of joining a family firm selling general insurance. So household contents, life insurance, so help with the renewals, with their mortgage before embarking on doing exams for mortgages myself, and then progressing further. And I think my real financial services career began at my time with the Royal Bank of Scotland in Manchester.
And to follow up on that, what made you pick financial advice as a sector?
I think it was a general progress from doing mortgages, and then the next logical step in the qualification process, really. You as a mortgage advisor, you obviously dealt with the mortgages, you dealt with the insurances that goes with it. But then you saw colleagues and other competitive firms perhaps were able to expand more and offer different services. And it was really more of a curiosity for myself, right? How am I going to do better? And financial advice was the next step to then embarking on the actual exams. And I always enjoyed talking to people. That was the thing that I enjoyed about it all, was actually meeting new people, talking with people, and help them find a solution to the problems they had.
Has there been anything that surprised you since you become a financial advisor?
I must admit, my career as a financial advisor mostly had been international. Sure, I started out in the UK, but I moved to Spain in 2010. And apart from the usual surprise in regulation changes and product changes, I think the biggest thing is seeing how clients have been treated in the past, certainly more so by international advisors. That there's been good stories, there've been not so good stories, and there've been some god-awful stories, in all honesty. And over this sort of 12 years to where we are today, the surprise, I must admit, it continues to me that the negative side of the business is still very rife. It despite the push for regulation, despite ensuring that advisors themselves are making sure they're qualified, making sure they're doing their 30 to 40 hours worth of CPD every year. Despite all of that, unfortunately, clients are still being, well, for lack of a better word, ill-advised or scammed even. Which I think I would have thought over the decade that would have at least improved. Significantly, at least anyway. I've seen improvements, but perhaps not as much as I had hoped. Okay, so that's the surprise on the negative side. I think the surprise on the more positive side is actually seeing more and more people coming into this profession, and especially in the international arena. And we're getting more young individuals taking some elements of financial services, so to speak, incorporating that as part of their degree, graduating and then redeveloping or further developing their skills from the UK. And some of the advisors coming from the UK to the European space now, I mean, these are some young people. And whereas in my own mindset, I thought, well, financial advisors for the 40s, the 50s, the old farts, perhaps, if I'm allowed to say that, of course. So and it's both men and women, by the way, and it's great to see a lot of women come into this space as well. So that's been a great surprise for us.
And lastly, what's the most important lesson you've learned since joining the sector?
The most important lesson, Robbie, is the fact that you have to treat people with respect, clients, colleagues, the same. And it's like the old adage, you treat people the same way you wish to be treated, okay? And certainly in the 12 years of working in the international arena, I can put my hands up, guilty of this, looking back to the early years working for a company and gaining experience. Looking back now, I can clearly see the advice given might not have been the best advice. And this could be down to a number of factors. A, your training, so you're then reliant on the person that's training you. B, it's also then to do about the company you're working for. Certainly the larger the company, they've got various mandates or rigid frameworks which restricts you to a certain extent. But I'm safe to say, you fast forward to today, and certainly where I am now in my career, the firm that I work for, because we're far more robust, the product providers are there to support us, I can safely say we're definitely putting the client's interest right at the forefront of every single piece of business that we do. And if it means we can't onboard a client, it just means we can't onboard a client. It's as simple as that.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.